Right, Crowbar Gym, downtown Leesburg. I figured he had a different angle over. Ah, look at what he got here. That is the old poster. I got to get a new one. All right, so get back to the subject matter. We're going to talk about forms. Like I said, you're going to see these. You're going to see this video here of me doing some forms, and I'm going to be very honest with you, kind of like giving you my experience and stuff like that. I never really liked forms, and the reason why is because I didn't really see the value in the forms when I first started training in martial arts. I did karate when I first started. I first started actually just like picking up a book and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do all these movements, and it was fun. I enjoyed it, but of course I didn't have an instructor. Then I went to a place and had an instructor, and you could just tell that the instructor didn't really know what the forms were used for. There was like movements that just didn't make any logical sense. And I mind you, I was like about like maybe 12, and when I was 12, to be fair, I wrestled, I fought people. I wasn't in a gang or nothing crazy like that, but you would have altercations as a boy would normally, right? So sometimes things just didn't make any sense, almost to the point where like you have to question the reality of things. Like I even had a friend who believed that WWF was real, and so when you have things like this, it's kind of like, okay, is this working? Is it not working? So when I first tried forms, I'm like, I'm not digging the form because I didn't really understand the basis of what a form was. Now the funny thing in jiu-jitsu, you do forms, but you do it with a person, and then there's also Chinese wrestling as well, that they do forms, and of course they do it with a person. And the funny thing is like I knew all these things, but I didn't really understand what the form was because I did this concept called reality-based training. And reality-based training is really what you see in combatives. So you see like Krav Maga does it. You see, like Tony Blair is another combatives guy. There's a whole bunch of dudes that just came out of the woodwork. I would even say like JKD is a form of a modernized combative. Paul Vunak, I think that's what you say his name. That's another forms of combatives and stuff like that. And so like they don't really like forms. Like they get it. Everybody's gotten away from that, right? But if you actually see the greatest fighters out there, so let's take, because Mike Tyson right now is really popular online. If you see him, he has videos and videos and videos of him actually shadowboxing. Guess what? Shadowboxing is a form of a form. Now, to get back to the subject matter, because I have tangents, as you already know. The beauty about this is like, okay, cool, I'm going to do these forms, and then all of a sudden, once I started doing these forms that I was learning here in Royal Kung Fu, like my jiu-jitsu just started getting better. And so of course, like what was it, why am I getting better? Well, a lot of it really has to do with mechanics. So we do forms for a specific variety of different things, but it's really for conditioning, mechanics. And then the other thing is too is that there's you also, when you actually do a form, right, when you do it, the beauty about it is that there is a set pattern or a movement that is discussed in the form, what it's trying to achieve. But then there's also mechanisms in the form that technically are implied, right? So meaning if there's an implication of what you could do from a sense. Also too, the forms that I'm doing now, they're very unique compared to some of the other ones that I learned. They're not linear per se. There's a lot of elements of memory. So there's like almost the capacity of understanding all the techniques that you can achieve in one session. Like even today, I almost have to, sometimes when I teach a class, I have to go back to my notes, or I have to go back to my manual and go, okay, well, let me look at this ochikari, right? So like that's, that's a throw, or a ponsunagi, right? These are like, ochi is technically like, the foot tripping stuff. And then you have a, large over the top, hip throw is what it is, right? So I always go back and I go, okay, cool, there's the base. Now the problem is that once, when I look at it, there's techniques that you can do with a person in this dynamic, but there's also exercises that you need to apply, because your hip hurdle has to technically be strong, your mechanisms, the way you grip has to be strong. So the forms really help you out in the long run. But look, if you guys are more interested in this, I would love to, do more martial arts videos and then put them up. So, if you're guys just right at the bottom, we're going to do somewhat more of that. I'm going to do it anyways. But if you have specific subject matters or questions or anything of that nature, I want you guys to technically ask in the comments, and then I'll do more videos on it just to ask. I love running my mouth, as you already know. So in this way, I can share actually like pliable information that you need. All right, Crowbar Gym out, and I hope you love the video and some of the stuff that I showed there. All right, take care. Bye.